Welcome to the New User online tutorial. I will show you in 5 simple steps how to create a new user in Mio. Step 1. Check permissions against the role. Step 2. Enter user profile details. Step 3. Add a photo and a caption. Step 4. Enable the object. Step 5. Check that the notification has been received. Step 1. Confirm that the role is set up. A user profile must have a role assigned to it. It is a good idea to double check that the permissions have been set up against the role before you assign it to the user profile. In order to do this, select Access, Roles, and select the role that you want to check the permissions against. In this instance, I'm going to select Producer's role. Select the Permissions subtab. Go through all the objects along the left-hand side of the screen and check that the permissions levels against them are set up correctly. As you can see, each object type on the left has specific permissions that are set against it. Go through all the object types and check that everything is set up correctly. Once this has been done, select Save. Step 2. Enter user profile details. Go to the Object User Setup screen, select New, and select User. This will take you to the User Profile Setup screen. Mandatory fields are required in order to set up a new user. Areas such as login name, first and last name, email address. These fields must be set up in order to set up a user profile. It is a good idea to create a template login credential, for example, a first name dot surname. So for example, I can create native dot user. This will help you to remember the login credentials for every user profile that you set up. In the account field section, select the predefined account and select the role. Now the role is the one that we have checked before with all the permissions set up. So in this instance, we're going to select Producers. Enter the first name and last name and enter the email address. This email address will be what is assigned to the user profile. This will mean that for any notifications, including the user profile login information, this will be the email that information is sent to. You also have different fields such as phone number and other fields, but these aren't mandatory and don't have to be filled in straight away. There are several non-mandatory fields in the profile setup that can be filled out at this point. There are 2 steps to both SMS and email setup. Step 1 is assigning the email address and assigning a mobile number with the country code prefix. So for the country code prefix, you could add, for example, +44 and the mobile number. Step 2 is assigning the severity level against these devices. This can be seen in the configuration area of the notification section. By selecting information level, warning level, or error level against email or SMS alerts, the user will have access to these different emails based on the severity that you have set up. Info level will notify all events occurring in the system that relate to yourself as an owner. Warning levels are represented in orange in Mio. This is not a hard stop and will allow the user to progress in Mio. The most common severity level is error. This will notify the user of any errors or failures, displayed in red, that will relate to the object owned by yourself as a user in Mio. For part-time or contract staff, the expires on field is a useful field to use. This will allow you to set an expiry date against a user profile. To do this, select the expires on and select the date in which you want this to occur. From this date onwards, the access to Mio will be terminated. The default time zone for Mio is GMT. If you are based outside of this time zone, it is advisable that you select the country and city fields. Selecting the country and city fields will be important because this will be what will be defined in the timestamp against events and actions carried out in Mio. Step 3. Add a photo and a caption. Photos may seem a bit strange to add, but they do become very useful when searching for users in an account. As your company grows, so will the users within the account. It is sometimes easier to search for people by what they look like than remembering their name. In order to assign a photo to a user profile, select the Choose File, select the photo from your local desktop, and select Open. You will see then that the photo has now been assigned to the file and to the user profile. There is an image restriction of 200 pixels by 200 pixels. Anything larger than that, the user profile will not be created. Assigning a caption is a fun way of creating a profile that is unique to you. It's a good way of explaining who you are and what you do in the company. So you could write, for example, technical, which would define exactly the role that you have. Potentially you could add things like responsibilities as well. Step 4. Enabling the object. Once you have set up all your profile criteria and you are happy in order to create the user profile, select Save. Now you can see that the user screen has now changed to a saved view. Now this isn't the end. Once you have saved the user profile, the next step is to enable it. In order to view objects within Mio, they need to be enabled. In order to do this, go to the Enable tick box button at the top of the screen and select Enable. As you will see, there is a question asking, are you sure you wish to enable this object? Select Yes. The object has now been enabled and you should soon receive a user profile login details to the email address that you defined in your user profile. Step 5. Check that the notification has been received. You can only sign into Mio once you have received your provisional password. This password can then be changed the first time you log into Mio. Once the profile has been saved and enabled, the user will receive an email notification introducing them to Mio. Within this user profile email notification, you will see 3 different areas of interest. The first is the login name. This will be the login details you log into Mio as. The second is the default password that has been assigned to you. Don't worry, this password can be changed once you have logged into Mio for the first time. The third area is the login URL. This is the login that you will receive and that you should use in order to log into Mio for the first time. Use the login URL to log into Mio. Copy the login name and copy the password that has been assigned to you. Select Login. This will present you with a change password screen. As mentioned, copy the existing password that was given to you as a default in your email and create a new password. This will be the password that we'll use every time you log into Mio. Select Save. You now have access as a user in Mio. Try this for yourself and see how you can create a user profile in Mio.